What's up, guys? Hello, I am on a double live, and I am on a live with Phil Good's community. Hello, everybody, and I am on a live with my community at serahdlaine. So, my good friend Phil is taking an amazing session right now in my back porch, and so I'm doing a double live for both of us. So, tonight, I've got some fun stuff, but we're going to blast out to some Lauryn Hill here real quick while we wait for some fun people to jump on. Give me your hearts, give me your names, tell me where you're from. Tonight's going to be good. There's been so many shifts happening. Down, up, sideways, diagonal, oh my goodness. Full moon intensity. And now we're coming on the upswing, thank goodness. And so tonight I want to talk about dealing with obstacles, dealing with fear patterns. Are they messages from your spirit, from your spirit guides, or are they actually old fear patterns? So that's going to be a topic. I'm going to do a whole Q&A for you guys. So I'm going to multitask. That's why I'm a woman. Good evening, Serah. Hello. Hi from Barbados. Katerina, I love you. Beautiful. Starting the vibes off right exactly with some Lauryn Hill. So let's get some more people coming in. What do we got over here? Hi, YouTube. SFLA. Why I get moody when I want to go out and then I change my mind. Awesome. We'll get into that. James, what's up? You guys, loving you so much. Hi guys, I love these videos. Awesome. Jess! Shout out to Jess, who totally came in on my meditation class here in LA. Totally rocked it. Had a beautiful experience. Girl, you're amazing. Tampa, Florida, Argentina. Letting go, yes. But different than letting go. Stepping more into who you are becoming. What do we have over here? Expressive vegan. We got some hearts. Love. James, you're amazing. Ingrid, Gabrielle. Excited for your insight. Awesome. Love you. Mwah. I'm from LA. Persian here. I like your energy. You're always happy. Awesome. Thank you. If you're in LA, dude, come to my meditation class at Mystic Journey Center. It's on 1702 Lincoln. Every Saturday and Sunday, starting at noon. Come sharp, because they shut the doors. Because we don't want to disturb people's meditations, right? What do we have over here? Long Island. Beautiful. Costa Rica. You guys are amazing. I love how we always combine our communities. So thank you for jumping on. So I'll bump the music here in a second. But, all right. So one, I want to hear from you guys what's been going on as well on both sides. I'm going to say hello again to my beautiful dear friend Phil Good's community. I am serahdlaine. You guys may have seen some posts with us and some videos with us before. He's on a call right now, so I am jumping on for the two of us. What started coming up this week, dealing with friction, confrontation, right? And so a very interesting download came to me that was... okay, ready for this? When something happens, right? When we're either, let's say, going towards something, you have a goal, you have a mission, you have something you want to accomplish, you have something you want to achieve, right? And then let's say an obstacle comes in the way. Because that's like never happened before, right? Hashtag sarcasm. And so we're almost like geared for these obstacles. Now, here's an interesting thing that might happen, right? So put some hearts if you resonate with this. An obstacle presents itself, and all of a sudden you say, oh, we've got a low battery on Phil, so you guys may cut out, but if it does, jump over onto my page at serahdlaine, serahdlaine. But quick thing, when an obstacle presents itself, okay, sometimes we like to say, Oops. Hang on. We're getting a call. Phil's getting a call in the middle of the live, and I don't know who that was. What's your name? My name is serahdlaine. I think I just spelled it too. serahdlaine. Okay, so when we actually get an obstacle that presents itself, right? And then is there a little voice in your mind that then ends up saying, I wonder if that's a sign not to go down that path, right? Give some hearts if any of you have ever said that. Any obstacle whatsoever that's like, oh gee, I wonder if the universe is sending me a sign that's like, maybe this is the wrong path. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Whatever it is, right? Awesome, we got hearts over there. Yay, lots of hearts. Okay, so you guys have all said this, right, at some point in time. So here's the potential. This was part of my download. Here's the potential of what might be taking place. Do we use that as an excuse? Follow me for a second. Do we use that as an excuse to not break through to whatever challenge that is that's presenting itself? Meaning, are we then going to so easily just say, oh, it's a sign from the universe, I'm not supposed to go down that path? And maybe the universe is, or spirit, your intuition, whatever you want to call it, your spirit guides, or the situation at hand is trying to say, are you going to bail at any given challenge that would potentially further you towards your goal? Are you going to bail on it, or are you going to push through whatever that obstacle is? And no matter what's happening, be like, I am committed to this. This is what I want to have happen. And that may be the message from spirit, universe, whatever, right? So that that's our internal challenge of whether we're going to face whatever it is that we have in front of us, or whether we're going to run away from it and then use the excuse of that it's the universe saying, oh, no, we must not be on that path, right? Or that must not be the path for us. And now, mind you, of course, if I'm speaking for things that are the goals that you want to achieve, or, the mission that you have and your passion, your purpose, whatever that is, right? I'm not talking about, like, let's say, for instance, if it's a harmful situation that you're in, okay? Because I think that's a different conversation. If you're in a toxic relationship or anything like that, right? Then that's a very different conversation that the universe is teaching you a very different lesson. So hope that's resonating. That was a lot of what was coming up, right? And whether we're going to rise to those challenges, or whether we're going to like slip away and be like, oh, that must not be right. That must not be for me, right? So tell me how you guys feel about that. And let me check in with you for a real quick second and say hello. Keep an open mind. Exactly. Your connection isn't so good. Okay. You're beautiful inside and out. Thank you. Let's get married. Awesome. I just got a proposal for marriage. That's interesting. Thank you. Let me see. Let's see. Okay. So let me tap into your guys' questions or anything that you have specifically with that. Let's see. So one person said, so SFLA, why do I get moody? Like I want to go out and then I change my mind. What's your intention? What's your goal? What's the intention of what you want to get out of it? What's the goal of what you would like to achieve? And similar to even just what I said, are you focused on the thing that you want? If you going out is just something for fun, then maybe your intuition is like, that's not really where you're supposed to be at that particular time. If for whatever reason there's a fear that's coming up for you, then are you changing your mind because of a fear pattern? Or is it really that you're like, okay, this either feels congruent or doesn't feel congruent? Like the focus is not so much in the mind and getting more into the body and what feels good and what feels right. Hope that helps. Let me check in with you guys over on Phil's page. You guys are amazing. All of you guys are amazing. Let's see. Do we have questions? We got Arkansas, Australia, You guys are awesome. Please talk about civilization on the inside of our planet. That is a deep conversation, Firebird of Infinity. So there's a lot of speculation with that, right? I'll talk about that for a second. The civilization on the inside of our planet. I believe, and this is just for me, right? And anytime I talk about very open, like, spiritual things, I always like to, like, ground it in, right? I believe that we have many different civilizations that are on this planet, as well as in different dimensional realities. So on the inside of our planets, or you said planets, so I believe that we have different cultures all over. There's no way that we are the only ones in this galaxy. When I did a meditation to kind of do a little bit more astral projecting, right, which I often do, I actually went outside of our personal galaxy, and what it looked like out there was different honeycombs put together. And so different civilizations have different energies and different tones and different intentions, and they're each resonating, and some are in alliance, and then some have not fully gotten to that awakened state. I believe that our planet here, with our human existence, we're doing something quite incredible at this time, where the deeper that we go into self-awareness and spiritual enlightenment, right? Whatever term you want to use for that. Basically the process of your spiritual evolution to really identifying and owning who you are and where you came from. That purpose, the opportunity to have that awareness in raising our vibration and raising our awareness while maintaining a physical form hasn't happened. So you're talking about civilizations on the inside of planets. I believe that they're in a different vibrational form. So, awesome, we got some hearts over there on that. So when they're in a different vibrational form, they don't have this same physical form that we do, right? So they're not able to adjust or do the things that we can. And yet we're having this amazing opportunity that I believe this is the first time in a very long time that we're raising our vibrations while we're maintaining our physical form. Meaning if we were to raise our vibration before, we would change into more of an etheric or energetic state. And so I believe we're not doing that this time. So I hope that helped with that. Okay, let me see. Montreal, awesome. Toronto, another one. You guys are amazing. Oh, Jess and Sarah's meditation classes are awesome. You got chills. Oh, girl. I love that. I love hearing your experience with that. Yay, and Marina Del Rey will definitely check out the class. Awesome. Yes, please do. Saturday and Sunday. Okay, so fear, obstacles, manifesting, fear, obstacles, manifesting new life, making big change. Is that a question, or is that what you're actually experiencing right now? I think this last month, and then even coming into these next coming weeks, we're set and geared up for like tap into what your deepest just dream is. That thing that you've been wanting to create and wanting to do and wanting to go after for so long. It's now like opening a gateway and an opportunity for you to then step into what that is. Cutting the fears and the conversations and those fear blocks from whatever is stopping you from doing that. We have these patterns of unconscious blocks and conversations that we have inside of our minds that literally will stop us in our tracks from achieving the things that we really desire. So we have this amazing opportunity right now to releasing those. Diving into them is the only way to release them. looking at them, seeing what they are, and then going through a subconscious process to actually releasing them so that you get to step into everything that you're destined to do down here, which I believe everybody has a passion and purpose. If you're down here vibrating, there is a reason. And your specific resonance has a voice, and that voice deserves to be heard and needs to be heard. So whatever that is that you're wanting to manifest, new creations, new creativity, new life, physically or metaphorically, and making, yes, absolutely, big changes and big metamorphosis. That's another plug for my class. But it is what's happening. I believe that we are going through this really beautiful metamorphosis process right now, internally, and thus then our external will reshape itself. So as we go through an internal transformation and metamorphosis, just like what is happening in your external world is happening on your internal world. So when we readjust and metamorphosize on our internal world, then technically our external will have to do the same. And sometimes, for the time being, that might look a little shaky and chaotic, because it's like taking all the plates up in the air, or taking all of the plates, everything that you have going on, throwing them up in the air, and instead of letting them fall where they may, as if you don't have any opportunity to guide them, throw them up in the air, be the observer, watch how everything is rearranging itself for you, and then see what you want to pick and choose from and where you would like to guide them, right? It doesn't mean try to control something and say, okay, I want this, situation to have this particular outcome, aka I want this plate to be over here, because we can't control everything like that. But when we can step back and observe them, not get caught in the chaos of what's happening, because it is happening for your metamorphosis. I'll never forget this. Do you guys know what happens? This is crazy. What happens in the metamorphosis process of any cocoon, whether it's a butterfly or a dragonfly, anything, from the caterpillar to the butterfly, right? It goes into the cocoon. We think it's this beautiful process because we see this gorgeous butterfly that emerges afterwards, right? And has all the courage to fly. And yet, when it's the caterpillar, it goes into the cocoon, wraps itself, and then it goes through a process of banging itself up against the cocoon back and forth rapidly to then turn into this liquefied substance. And then from the liquefied substance, it then metamorphosizes into the body of the butterfly and then the wings of the butterfly, and thus then emerges out of the cocoon. So when we think of metamorphosis, it's not, not to be it's not a negative thing, but yet at the same time, we have to expect that things are going to shift, and they may shift on a radical, seemingly chaotic, or banging up against something, right, in order for it to actually transform into something beautiful. So staying with that process and staying with your connection of what your vision is, and working to then push through, right? So not saying, okay, this is a sign from the universe, maybe I need to back out of this cocoon, but sticking with it, going through the process, and then you get the emerging and the metamorphosis out of that, right? Okay, so hang on, let me check in with both sides. You guys are amazing. I love all your hearts. Good evening, you two. I'm in LA. Hang on. You guys are awesome. Interesting, but we can step back lovingly. You can always, so I think if I can tap into what you're meaning with that, we could always step back from something lovingly, 100%. Meaning tap into your intuition Is it congruent for you? Is it congruent with your goals? Is it congruent with your values? Whatever this is, whatever situation, relationship, whatever's happening, you have to tap into actually feeling whether it's congruent for you. Not trying to think about whether it's going to work or not work. Because if it's congruent with who you are and your passion and what you're here to do, and you can feel that in you, then everything will work out. Because it's part of the vibration that you're putting into everything that you want to create down here. So I would just say, taking a step back lovingly, reassess from that point. Is this congruent or is this not congruent? Because yes, sometimes when we're in the middle of everything, you don't know which way's up sometimes, right? So yes, all the plates are thrown up in the air. Take a step back, view it, see which plates you like. Which ones have a nice design? Keep an open mind. Absolutely. So true. Cool. Okay. Vana, ending my marriage, finding myself, need a new career, money. Badass. So, it's interesting. A lot of women come to me having what I don't know. Don't know what kind of marriage it was. I can imagine if you're ending it, may not have been so great. A lot of women usually come to me having dealt with very toxic, emotionally draining, borderline abusive relationships, or some extremely abusive relationships, and are seeking to find their inner balance again. Absolutely. And so for you, beautiful, one, congratulations on just that full separation of finding out what's congruent for you and what's not congruent for you. And it's about you stepping further into what I call reviving radiance. So it's that internal radiance, right, that every woman has, that sometimes she loses when she gets into a relationship that feels very suppressive and controlling. And so it's not gone, it's not lost, it just needs like a little more spark and a little bit more, like, you got to feed it some juice a little bit. And so I would say sit in a meditation. If you want to have a call on this, I'd be happy to. But it's really tapping into, if you're familiar with Shakti energy, right? That Shakti is that powerful feminine energy that is that's your driving force. That's your spark. That's your fire, right? That's what keeps the radiance of the radiant woman. And so that just needs a little bit of reviving, and get into something creative. What feels really feminine for you? What feels like really good and yummy and juicy, and like sit and either write or draw a picture, take a bubble bath, something that feels really good for you, that feels very feminine, and maybe even dancing. I don't know, sometimes moving the body and moving that energy up and out through the Shakti and through all of your chakras, move it out. And then tap into what your main focus is, right? Because you have a passion and you have a purpose and you have a voice, and it's just about tapping into exactly what that is. And heads up for you guys on Phil's page, because he's got 10% battery, so we're going to see what happens. But either way, you can always jump on over to my page. So, full moon, oh man, and this was an intense one, and it was all in Capricorn. So that's, yes, focus on your drive and your mission and money related topics, right? But ultimately, what's the big picture of where we're wanting to go? That's the biggest thing. Your relationship with yourself and where you're wanting to take yourself. How are you metamorphosizing? I've been metamorphosizing like hardcore for this whole past week, and it's very interesting. I can see this other version of myself that I went shopping, little side thing for all the ladies, bought myself a few nice things. I am buying for the new vision of almost what she wants, which she is still me, but it's this next version. And so that's telling me that I'm wanting to shift the external to represent what the internal is transforming into. And I can see her, and it's a little It's where we get caught in any stage of development, right? So no matter where you're at right now, or even if you get to that next level, then there's always a next level above that, right? So there's never anything wrong. There's just where we're at with where we want versus where we want to go. And so however many times you've transformed or gone through that Phoenix rising, there's always this like tug of war, right? Because you have the old self, your old patterns, your old fears, your old behaviors, and all that stuff that isn't transformed yet within the subconscious, right? So when you can really dive in, transform all of those, then it leaves this free space for the new to come in or for you to step forward into the new or that next level. So that's always really, it's like this tug of war of, oh, I see it and it's really exciting, and then, oh, but there's then that old pattern which we identify with because we think it's part of our identity because those patterns have been with us for so long that we think they are our identity, and they're not. They were put there by family beliefs, societal beliefs and structures, friends' opinions, your own opinions that you took on during a fear or a protection stage in your life. So they're not, if they're not serving you anymore, then they gotta go. Simple as that. And it's a deeper process of tapping into the subconscious to releasing all of those. If anybody wants help with that, you know where to find me. So let's see, that's what I've been trying to decipher lately on all levels, on all things I'm pursuing regarding passion and purpose. Awesome. And what did you find out? Have you like sat with yourself, got clear on what it feels like, got clear on just the vision on what, like we can create anything we want out of absolutely nothing. We have every ability to do that. You just also have to believe that you can and have a belief and have a vision for doing it. And then creating, once you have that vision, then it's just about finding the strategy on how to actually achieve those things. And when we're caught up in our own mind and our own fears and our old patterns and our own old patterns, then yes, it makes it harder because we're in the middle of it trying to get clarity on something, trying to get clarity on what direction we think that we should be going. And sometimes that direction is just, cool, who can I get support around that with, right? We think that we have to do it all by ourselves in our own head. And that's almost sometimes your worst enemy because you're the only one up there. Or maybe there's a few other energies or entities around you might be picking up on as well. And so knowing how to decipher, you know, is this a spiritual guidance? Is this my spirit guides or my intuition? Or is this, am I telling myself something from an old fear-based pattern? One is in the mind and one is in a feeling state. And it's that connection to your intuition, your, you know, Shakti for women, that guttural, you know, technically the opposite of Shakti would be Shiva for the men, right? But it's that guttural essence of who you are and tapping into that and sitting quietly with yourself and visualizing and just be creative. Daydream. Sit there and like see what shows up. Cosette, hi beautiful. Oh, how's Paris? Gorgeous. Let's see. Thank you for your insight. Awesome. Thank you, Veronica. Let's see. So what if my goal is what I am meant to do? So what if my goal is what I'm meant to do? You have a sad face with that? I don't know. So what if my goal, is not, sorry, I can't see the thing. So what if my goal is not what I'm meant to do? If your goal, if you're feeling like your goal is not what you're meant to do, then it's not in alignment. It's as simple as that. You can set goals that can either help you, like, and either way, real quick, I would say take action on anything. Even if it doesn't look right now like it's not what you're meant to do, is it a stepping stone to then help you get there? So tap into the feeling. If it's in alignment energetically, then it means that it could be 3 steps away, 3 stepping stones away from what you're truly meant to do. If it's really not in resonance, then either do what you have to do to move out of that, or balance doing that with then what you feel like you are meant to do, right? So always keeping balance in everything. I'm not a big fan of like disregarding everything and then, you know, just focusing on all of your main passion and purpose. I have a and mentality, not an or mentality. So you can have that and something else until you're switching into the new, versus, oh, I have to choose this or that, because then we're in lack mentality. And if we're in lack mentality, then we're not getting anything done. There's no confidence there. Okay, so hi, Phil's community. You guys are so awesome. Love your hearts and your rainbows. Hello from Mantinique. Awesome. Time is over 30 minutes in. Okay, I don't know how much battery Phil has left on, so I'm going to do one more question for you guys, and then I'm going to switch Phil's camera off. And so if you want to keep joining me, then go on to serahdlaine, at serahdlaine, SERAHDLAINE, and find me there, because I'll continue the video there. It's just because he doesn't have that much battery left. So let's see, how do I get through Dark Night of the Soul? Ooh. It's been over 3 months and it's so exhausting. Copy that. So thank you, faithisms. A lot of faith. That may be the reason for your name on Instagram. That's awesome. Okay, so Dark Night of the Soul. I feel like, okay, so for you, when you're really quiet with yourself, when you are in those really subtle moments, and sometimes the Dark Night of the Soul can be, yes, it's super intense and very exhausting, and usually a lot of fear comes up with that. So for you, I would say anything from the heart will transmute all of that. So if you're still going through the Dark Night of the Soul, it's calling you, it's hoping that you will call back to your heart space. And so let's say if it's a fear or something that you're seeing or whatever it is, or that feeling of fear or exhaustion, whatever the specifics are that you're experiencing, close your eyes, see an image in between your eyebrows, move it down into the back, or move it to the back of your mind, and then down towards your throat, and then down into your heart, and then think of a time that you felt so much love and compassion and joy, and then emanate that and make that feeling bigger from your heart. It's calling you into tapping into those deeper loving and compassion and gratitude emotions, and those feelings will transmute anything else that's happening. And everybody's is different, and so I'm kind of giving you a general answer right now. I realize that because everybody has a different specific experience with it. And mine went over about 2 years. I'm not saying yours is going to, but I spent a good 2 years in really deep dealing with a lot of different entities and energies and inner transformation of, it's all shadow work. Dark Night of your Soul is basically all focused on shadow work. So whatever those patterns are, whatever those fear-based patterns are that are still harboring in the back of your mind somewhere, they're coming up to the surface and you're feeling them. And so the only thing that will transmute them is love and gratitude and compassion, and yet really authentically getting yourself to that space, I totally get, is very difficult. And yet that's the remedy. That's the prescription. That's the easiest way, and yet very difficult. But I'd be happy to have a deeper conversation with you about that, because like I said, everybody's is so specific to them. So for you guys on Phil's community, I love you so much. You're so amazing. We'll probably do, I don't know, we'll do a live together at another time. He's jumping on a call right now, so I want to jump on with you guys. If you want to continue, jump over onto my page, which is serahdlaine.com, SERAHDLAINE. I'm sorry, I totally would continue, but the battery's dying, and I don't want to just cut you off. So, mwah, so much love, and I'll see you over here on this one. Love you guys. Thank you so much for jumping on. Mwah. Okay. So that's doing that thing. So back over to my side. Hi, yay, and all your hearts. I love you guys. You're so awesome. Okay. So, and I hope this was helpful for you guys as well. The really cool thing that I love about doing tandem videos is, one, we're merging communities, which is so much fun. And when, even if you guys ask a question and then they get to hear it, that community gets to hear the answer, then it benefits those people. And then any questions over on Phil's page then benefits you guys. So it's always a group effort. We're all in this together. So loving you guys so much. I'm going to continue over here. So I think of obstacles as testing you to see if you're ready to receive more. That's an interesting perspective, absolutely. And I guess I kind of, so yes, I totally agree with that, because if you're gonna then just say, okay, no, this is not for me, right? Then you wouldn't be ready for more. You wouldn't be ready to handle more. It's so dry here in California. Now my throat's getting scratchy. So yes, if you're feeling into that space, I always, whenever I look out and it's like, okay, there's either conflict or you know, a blockage or something that just feels rigid and it's not quite moving as smoothly, you know, and what illusion that we have that we think everything is going to move so perfectly smoothly, right? Not everything is going to do that. It wouldn't be life. Technically, we would get bored. We wouldn't have anything to then challenge us. And at the same time, it's not setting up negative challenges, right? So then we can give ourselves something to do. But if we're in that space where we're like, okay, this is too much, it's taking that step back, like I said, and fully observing the situation, getting into the body again, right? Sometimes we have such a tendency with fear and whenever there's chaos or whatever's happening to stay in the mind. And so it's taking that step back, getting recentered, and from there you can receive more. Awesome. I love all your guys' hearts for that. Thank you. Hang on. So who was that? 1111. Thank you for that question. Let's see. How do I know if a situation is teaching me a lesson or if the uncomfortableness, I love that, is guiding me to get out of the situation? Great question. Specifically concerning careers. Okay, love how clear that is. So how do I know if a situation is teaching me a lesson or if the uncomfortableness is guiding me to get out of the situation? Okay, so one, what are you making it mean? This is like the series of kind of deduction questions, right? So if you have a situation with a career and you're saying it's like, if it's teaching you a lesson, I want to make sure that I have your whole question. Teaching you a lesson or the uncomfortableness is guiding you to get out of this situation. So what's making it uncomfortable? What are you making the uncomfortableness mean, either about you or the other person, right? So what potential judgments are you putting on it, right? Because we all do. We're human. It's part of the condition. And if it's, I believe that everything is there to teach us a lesson no matter what, especially when things are uncomfortable. Do we need to keep continually putting ourselves in a similar situation to continue being uncomfortable in order to learn the same lesson? Some of us need more than once, right? So I would also say, have you experienced this same uncomfortableness in another situation, either in a career or in another, any other kind of situation, because I believe one relationship is similar to how you do all the rest of your relationships. So career relationships can be the patterns, I should say, patterns in career relationships can be very tandem and similar to all of your other relationships. The ones with yourself, your relationships with romantic partners, your relationship with money, all of those different things. So we have a relationship with absolutely everything. And so have you experienced a situation or this uncomfortableness in a situation before? If you have, then it's repeating the same pattern, because you either haven't deleted the old subconscious pattern or belief system or fear, whatever program that is, and so you keep reliving out this same kind of dynamic in order to teach you whatever it is to teach you. So specifically for you, I would need more information on exactly what that would be. And if it is a career that you're like, I'm just not feeling this career, what's holding you there? Or better yet, what's stopping you from stepping into what you really do want to do, or at least balancing, this old career with starting something of what does make you feel passionate and fulfilled, right? And the other thing is, who do you have to become? Who do you have to metamorphosize into in order to achieve that actual next level in your career, or next level in who you are in your business or in your relationships? So what does that look like? So I hope that helped a little bit. How to know what you truly want versus what you feel like you should want or do. How to know what you truly want versus what you feel like you should want. There's a lot of conflict in that question, girl. I gotta be honest. So this is for V Styles. Okay, so the question in itself, I'm just gonna be super real, is contradictory almost in and of itself. So that tells me that there's a lot of internal conflict going on. In which case, that clarity, we fragment ourselves, right? We fragment part of our psyche, and so the process of reintegrating those fragments within the subconscious can be really helpful in deciphering and then solving this particular conflict. Because what you're saying is, how do you know what you truly want versus what you feel that you should, which a should almost comes from a fear. Or it comes from a belief that somebody else, oh, there's Phil, wave, honey. He's on the phone. So it's a fear of what you think that you should do or shouldn't do. Yeah, he's on a call. Shh. So how do you, okay, I lost my train of thought, hang on. A should comes from a fear or a belief system that either you created and took on, or a belief system that somebody said to you, right? Of what you should do, shouldn't do. There's a lot of, I have a joke that like shoulds and shouldn'ts live in Nova Scotia, like somewhere over there that like we can't find them because they're so abstract. Hang on, that's Phil's phone. They're so abstract and so vague and so fear-based because they're not real. So what you truly want is a feeling. And then you even say, how do I know what I truly want versus what I feel like I should do? Thanks, babe. There's a lot of conflict in there. And I would say get in touch with more of your feeling, but not the feeling of what you should do. Because if it's a should, it's coming from the mind, it's not coming from a feeling. And if it's not coming from a feeling, then it's not part of your authentic intuition, and it probably doesn't feel very good. And then your soul and your spirit are like, your soul and your spirit don't want to should anything. They want to guide, they want to have joy, they want to have something that feels really amazing. That's part of who you are and what you're here for, right? So I'd say let's have a deeper conversation on that, because those are two conflicting parts and they need to reintegrate. I explain them as almost like our fragments are like two twins that are in our mind, or between two conflicting things, and they just need to find what their same purpose is. So if you have what you truly want, could have the same purpose of what you think that you should be doing. And if it doesn't, then you choose the one that actually feels good. But until you find out what the purpose of each one of them is, you're going to continue to be in conflict with those two different aspects of yourself. I hope that helped, because that was a vague and yet a lot of fear in that. That's what I picked up on, was a lot of fear in that question. So thank you for your answers. Awesome. Let's see. I lost my keys. Where are my keys? Honey, I might be really intuitive, but like, check under your seat in your car or under your bed, or in your pocket. I don't know. Yeah. That's not what we're doing here today, but I hope you find them. I'm going to set the intention that you're going to find them in 2 minutes. Please, one more talk about past life stuff. Okay. Do you have a specific on past life stuff? Your comment may be all the way down at the bottom, and I don't know if I'm going to get to it. So talk about past lives. What do you want to know about past lives? What I enjoy about past lives and tapping into different past lives is that this is for everybody, we have an amazing opportunity to take the lessons of our past lives or our past selves, whatever those lessons were. Some people, yes, they call them karma, right? But we can tap into each one of those lives, see that self or feel that self if the clarity of the vision isn't that clear, right? And feel into what those lessons were back then and bring them into our conscious awareness in this life so that we can actually unravel our karma much faster. So I believe that that's why we're still sort of tied in with our past lives, on top of the fact that I also believe that time is not linear. Time is layered on top of itself. And so if we're here and you've got all these different past lives here in the past or here in the future, they're all happening simultaneously. And so because they're happening simultaneously, just on different dimensional realities, then you can tap into each one of them at any given time and find out either what's happening or what has happened, or, like I said, whatever lessons. So I like to find the purpose in everything. It's cool to just think about past lives. I feel like a lot of people, when they take on the, like, oh, I'm the reincarnated version of blah, 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 you know, it's the consciousness that we're tapping into. When you tap into that consciousness, you also tap into whatever those lessons were in that time. And sometimes those lessons were very difficult. But if we can bring them into this one, then we can raise our awareness in this dimensional self and reality much faster. That's what I personally believe. And as far as the past lives of myself that I've tapped into and picked up on different experiences with them. Be careful. I don't want to say be careful. There's no fear based in it, but don't take on the emotions or the fears of the past lives. Observe them from a neutral stance in order to get the lesson, right? Sometimes when people do really deep going into their different past lives, you get a lot of the emotions that went along with it. I remember doing that. I did. I don't I personally now no longer do psychedelics or plant-based ceremonies or anything like that. However, during my time with ayahuasca and mushrooms, I tapped into Egypt, which I've always been very, very connected with Egypt ever since I was in junior high. That was the only part of history that I was really, really resonated with. And I had a vision of not the glamorous side of Egypt at all. I was seeing, like the pharaohs and all of that, and the beautiful goddesses and all of the royalty on that level, and yet at the same time I also saw a lot of the destruction that we were doing that isn't always talked about. And so whenever we tap into something, there's always that, 50-50 aspect of, okay, what are all the beautiful positives that we want to hold that vision of? But then also there's other realities that really took place, that we were all going through different lessons at that particular time, no matter who we were in those different past lives. But what it did was I tapped into all of the emotion and the anguish and the destruction, and it didn't feel good. And so I'm not a fan of, I feel like it's picking at wounds when we do that. And so my goal when I work with people is not to open up those wounds and keep opening up those wounds. We can observe them in a really neutral way from the subconscious and work through them, gain the lessons, all the gold, right? And then we can take them into our daily lives and move on from there. So I hope that helps. Can you talk more about fragmented energy? How you clear energy? So what I think you're talking about when it comes to fragmented energy, I was talking about our fragmented selves. If you're talking about fragmented energy, that may or may not be different. But clearing energy specifically, so everybody knows about the chakras, right? We have 7 primary ones. We have all of the other ones above that most people don't talk about. And we have what's called a biofield. Somebody's texting Phil. Hang on. So we have what's called a biofield. Your biofield actually correlates with the same 7 primary chakras that go horizontal. And you have, or vertical, excuse me. Left, right, what? And you have the equal horizontal ones that go, there's 7 layers on either side of you. I think I may have touched on this briefly in a couple other videos, but I'll go over it again. Those correlate to your emotional body, your mental body, your physical body, all of your etheric, and I think your astral body, and I forget the other one right now. And so when I am personally clearing energy, whether it's energy that I pick up from other people, other entities, other people's emotions, anything like that, I do a visualization. I use tools. I wear necklaces. I create them. I keep a very clear space, right? I have these holograms that help to transmute lower vibrational entities. They actually keep out different things like black magic and the things that are on the same lines as black magic, electromagnetic frequencies, all of that stuff. If you guys ever have any more questions about that, that's under Sovereign Alliance. Point is that when I'm actually clearing my personal energy body, like I said, I keep my space really clear of all those energies because we have electromagnetics. We have all of this different chaos, and we have the chaos in our mind that can actually shift our own energy as well. So it's not always coming from other people. But I'll do the opening. I'll use tools, but I'll do the visual opening of all my chakras. I love your guys' hearts. Thank you. I'll do the visual opening of all of my chakras this way, and then I will bring in chi energy. There's a breathing technique for that. But I'll bring in chi energy into my solar plexus and into my heart, and I will visualize it and feel it go through all of the 7 layers of my biofield, and just seeing those and feeling those clearing out. Another really great visual technique is actually one of my coaches uses this with me, so I give credit to Anna. Visualizing almost like a filter above your head, and then a filter below your feet, and the filter above your head is pulling setting the intention that you're pulling all the unwanted energies, anything unwanted, anything that's not yours, and just trusting your subconscious and your energy body to do, and your energy body to do that. So that one pulls everything out and goes through this filter, and then the one on the bottom of your feet is pulling back your energy that maybe you've dispersed out unknowingly or unintentionally or whatever, so that you would actually like to bring back in. And so putting that filter at the bottom of your feet so that it filters it from the outside to then coming back into you clean. So I hope that helps. Yeah, I want to answer your question about fragmented energy, but I would love a little bit more specifics on what you mean by, because there's fragmented parts of yourself and your psyche, and then fragmented energy. I feel like what you're talking about could be like energy blocks, because energy blocks will create a fragment in your field. But once you actually open and align in your chakras again, then that should actually readjust those fragments. So if that's what you're talking about, then I hope that answers it. But if not, feel free to write down just a little bit more specifics on what you mean by fragmented energy. I'm very literal, so I like to answer your guys' questions, but different terminologies too, because when we use specific words, I would just want to make sure that I'm reading it and answering it correctly for what you guys need. So which is, let's see, launch yourself. Which is why you need to raise your vibration to connect with your spirit team. Exactly. And I love that we all say raise our vibration. And a lot of what that looks like for me, I'll share, is it's the energy body, so it's the mind, body, and the spirit, right? So yes, it's eating healthy. Yes, it's, not having like all the toxins and stuff around you, protecting your space, clearing your energy body and all that stuff. And at the same time, raising our vibration is actually, we're forgetting sometimes about the mind. And so sometimes we set positive intentions, right? I'm sure all of you guys have maybe your own mantra, whatever that is, right? And so setting a positive intention consciously can, yes, be really beneficial, but it's also getting rid of those subconscious blocks that are keeping us from the ease and flow of who we authentically are, and the ease and flow in rising our vibrations. Because if we have the old patterns, then it's like we're always going to trip over those, or there's always going to be some sort of block in the way to then rising our vibration. And no matter, yes, like I said, food helps, clearing your energy body helps, all those things. And yet our mind is such a powerful tool, and our subconscious and unconscious mind is such a powerful tool that I feel like goes almost more unnoticed. Meditation is the conscious mind. Subconscious mind is those things that you don't know of how you're operating, and that they're unconsciously, choosing for you and creating your patterns and your behaviors. So that's, for me, that's where I love balancing the psyche and the spiritual. I have 1 minute and 50 seconds left. Okay. I'm going to do one more super quick question. So launch yourself. Thank you for that question. That's super great. And guys, I'm doing my best to keep these on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if anybody ever has any questions and you would like for me to address them, feel free to send me a message, and I can always address them on a video. Yes. Okay. So did you meet your soulmate? With 1 minute to go, I believe that we have people who are put in our lives that are our soulmates, that we have amazing connections with. Phil, my dear brother, is what I consider a soul brother, a soulmate of that kind. And so as far as if you mean romantic soulmate, He may not even be on the planet. So as far as that goes, no, I haven't met him yet. So I'll leave it at that. With 34 seconds to go. Nice cliffhanger. Great question. I love you guys so much. Yeah, thank you all for your questions. And next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, if you're in LA, Mystic Journeys, the LA Center on 1702 Lincoln, 12 p.m. sharp every Saturday and Sunday. Mwah. Meditation Metamorphosis. Love you guys. Bye.